Hi everyone. Now I'll explain storage allocation strategies in compiler design. So how after a program is compiled in during runtime environment, what is the purpose of memory allocation, storage allocation it's needed are going to be discussed in detail. So consider a program. A program is a collection of source code. It consists of statements. So these statements has to be performed in the target machine. So this statements is set of instructions needs some memory to run or to execute. So that is the runtime environment. So before the runtime environment, what are all the prerequisites for the runtime environment to execute and program? So like we need library files has to be loaded, packages has to be loaded, header file has to be loaded, variables has to be declared. So some sort of predefined files has to be loaded into the memory, and here storage allocation plays a major role for execution of a program. So how we are going to be organize a memory allocation for procedures for variables. So that's why will be discussed right now. So runtime environment, uh, you have your program that is of fixed size. So you know the memory allocation necessary for the program to be done. Inside your program, what are all the variables you are using, your functions you are using. For this we go for your dynamic memory location. So that is why this memory location has to be done for both procedure and inside the procedure. So that's why we are going to be seeing in depth and detail. So what is activation tree? If you consider a program is a sequence of instruction combined into a number of procedures. Instructions in the procedure are executed sequentially. So we'll have several procedures. So each and every procedures has to be executed in sequence or in order. So several procedures having a modules, like it's considered as a single program has to be executed in sequence. So for this purpose, the way of execution of procedures we call as a procedure. The execution of a procedure or program is called activation. So here activation says about the control or way of execution of the procedure, and here such an activation contains many parameters. So how it related to an activation record contains all the necessary information for your called procedure. So for example, if you say uh, for a procedure has to be called. So for this, we have to maintain your data. So here, first parameter used in activation tree is temporary. So we have to store temporary and intermediate value of an expression. So we'll have local data. So what is the program which needs the local data to be loaded, that has to be linked in an activation tree, and we will be having your machine status. So in your machine status, like we'll be having a program counter to registers, system registers. So this will be called about your machine status. Then we'll be having a control link. So in this control link, it will store the address of the activation record of the caller procedure. That means, for example, several procedure has to be called in sequence. So which address has to be active, which procedure is activated right now, which has to be called, that will be stored at the present of the control link. And access link, so it will store the information of the data uh, about the procedure. So that is your access link. Then it contains your actual parameter. So what is the parameters required for the procedure, and also your return value. So this all together will be considered as an activation record. So based on the activation record, your activation tree is generated. So your activation tree is responsible for the execution of your procedure. So for example, here I'm having a simple program. So in this program, so whenever each procedure is executed, This activation record, it's going to be stored in your stack. That is your called control stack. So why it is will be stored in your control stack? So here its concept, very important concept is LFI, LIFO, that is last in first out. So whenever the another procedure is interrupt, so if it is interrupt, so that procedure will be stored in your stack at that particular time. Then it will be execute the sub procedure or which procedure has to be executed first. Then it will be throw the control back to the caller. So that's why the activation tree is organized. So I'll show an example like in this program itself, we are having your printf, scanf. I'll get you my name and printf statement, and here also I'm having a user defined function. So in this printf scanf has to be executed first. So this inside user defined function printf also statement is present. Which printf has to be executed, so that will be called as activation tree of the particular subroutine or procedures to be called. So when it's called, so if you look at this, so I'm using printf enter your name, so that will be executed first. So after getting the input value, it will be call the procedure show data username by passing the parameter. Then it will be execute this printf statement. Then afterwards this printf statement. So that's how your activation tree plays a control how it will be manage your stack. So you will be having your control stack. Stack allocation will be used to identify the current procedure based on the activation record. So now storage allocation. So what is the storage allocation? So this runtime environment. So before you know a activation record to execute the sequence of the program which has to be executed, there is now storage allocation. Storage allocation, like we are having a code in procedure itself, we are having a code and variables. So all together how we are managed in the memory allocation, that is the storage allocation. So for this runtime environment, manage runtime memory requirements for the code. So as I said earlier, code contains a fixed memory size, so it's not a dynamic, it is a static one. So once we know the size of the memory size of the code, so we can fix it for the code before compile time. Then for procedures, so procedures, like which procedure has to be called first. So that activation record has to be generated. So during this time, stack will be created to manage the procedure call. So that is known as stack allocation for your procedure call. So that's also to be allocated. Other than this run environment, a most important will be having your variables declared during variables declared in your program. So this will be known to the compiler during the execution, that is during runtime of your program. So when you go for this such a will be having a variables global constant. So this will be managed based on this heap memory allocation scheme. So heap memory allocation scheme will be allowed to allocate the memory size for the variable, as well as it will be deallocate the memory, as well as it will be exit the scope of the variable. So it depends. So now what we are having a different memory allocation. So procedure will be go for stack memory allocation. For variables will be go for heap memory allocation. Then for code we will go for static allocation. So now this is the definition of for static allocation. So when you go for a compilation data, your memory is fixed. So this will not change during the entire program. So the program executes. So once it is allocated, after you compile your program, during the runtime, after execution only, your static, that is the memory, will be get deallocated. Then when you go for stack allocation, so procedure calls, as I said, it's follow your LFIO method. So which procedure is entered at last, that will be completed first, then it will be throw and control to the last. So now that is known as stack allocation. Then when we go for heap allocation always go for your variable declaration. So when you go for creating instant variables or variables, so it will be start allocating your memory. Then when it deallocate, that the scope of the variable exit out of the function. So whether it is global variable or local variable, if it is a local variable, obviously it will be deallocate the memory as soon as it call that complete the procedure, a sub procedure. So that's will be called your heap memory. So this is a diagram for explanation of static allocation. So static allocation as well as stack heap. So static is a fixed set. So when you go for heap memory, that keep as a separate for a variable, stack memory will be go for your dynamic for your procedure calls. So this next topic I'll teach what is parameter passing. So parameter passing like, so in this topic parameter passing. So what is parameter passing? We have several procedures. So how to make a communication among the procedures with the help of your parameter passing only successfully we can call the procedures. So for calling the procedure or invoking the functions with the help of your parameter will be used as a communication. So that is the parameter passing. Next, in that we are having two values like R value and L value. So what is R value? When you go for assignment operator, if so R value means right value. So it can be assigned to a new variable. So those values or expression, so that will be considered as your right hand side value, which will be present next to the assignment operator. If you consider L value, so what is L value? For example, in which right hand value can be assigned to your variable, right? So that can be act as a L value. L value may be having your a memory address. Why it is a memory address is variable. So the variable will be stored in your memory location. So that will be called as your L value. Always L value can have your some memory location. So L value will not be any constant. In this case, for example, day equal to 1, week equal to day into 7. This R value will be assigned to the day, week, month, year or L value. Whereas 7 equal to x plus y is not possible because L value will not be a constant because it doesn't represent any memory location. So that is called two values, R value and L value. Then in this parameter passing will be called two types of parameters, formal parameter and actual parameter. So formal parameter, so only the variables will be passed the information for the procedure. So that will be called as your formal parameter. So for example, function, the function which function is invoking, so that will be called as a formal parameter. So directly you will be mentioning your function name, so the without passing their argument, so will be that will be called as a formal parameter. Then you will go for your actual parameter. Actual parameter, as you know already, it's of two types: call by value and call by reference. So call by value means, so it will be passed some value, uh, so passed by some value to the function. So when the as soon as the procedure is called, uh, so some value will be passed through the procedure, so that can be used to the function to be executed. So that is known as pass by value. When you go for pass by reference, well, so it will be called directly, will not send a value. Here will be send the memory location of a variable as a parameter. So and during your calling your function or calling a procedure. So this is how a parameter passing is successfully implemented in compiler design. Thank you.